So today we're going to show you how to turn your old crusty, rusty parts into beautiful restored metal surfaces. Get ready. Alright guys, so you know that I'm building a wide body Mustang, and one of the things I'm doing is swapping over the spindles. So the spindles themselves are the same thing roughly from a 94 to a 2004 Ford Mustang. Now these spindles are the front spindles themselves, so you can see this set is nicely crusty and rusty. And I'm going to change these into a cleaned up, coated, and prepared spindle to go on my wide body Mustang. How I'm going to do that is using Evapo-Rust solution. Now Evapo-Rust comes in a lot of different sizes. It's a kind of a pH balanced solution that you can dip parts into and then leave them and allow the solution to kind of work off the rust and condition the surface, degrease a little bit of that. Evapo-Rust comes in multiple sizes, so you can get it in a half gallon, gallon, 3.5 gallon, and a 5 gallon tub of solution. So the half gallon and gallon come in a small jug, and really I needed about 2 gallons in a bucket to be able to cover the spindles. So I ended up buying a 3.5 gallon bucket in order to dunk these in. The 3.5 gallon bucket comes with a small basket, a small plastic basket inside that you can hold parts in, which makes it pretty easy to get parts in and out of when you're taking them in and out of the solution for cleaning and to scrub if needed. So now to start this process, I'm going to just degrease or take any grease off of the spindles itself. The Evapo-Rust is not really intended to be a degreasing solution, but it will take off some grease. So the recommendation is to take off as much of the grease as possible, use maybe a cloth or even scrubbing it with a bristle brush just to get any dirt, grime, anything else extra off. That way it allows the solution to really do its job attacking the rust more than trying to degrease parts that you could have done by hand. So now with the test piece I've got here, now this is one of the 96 to 04s that I have as a spare, and I'm going to use this as kind of my reference to show you. So to start with, you can see it's rusty. It's a little bit greasy here on the spindle, even though we've wiped it off. And you can see it's got some surface rust all the way around it. So now I already did the opposite side just as my test piece. So this piece itself, what I ended up doing was obviously cleaning it beforehand. I let it sit overnight in the solution, took it out, and then ran it through hot water and a bristle brush, just basically kind of like a little nylon kind of brush, just to really get this thing cleaned up. And then re-soaked it again overnight, and then went and again ran it through water and got it all taken off. So now this is drip dry coated, meaning I dipped it in there, allowed it to sit over the solution, drip dry, and then this will not rust now because it's coated and dried in the Evapo-Rust solution. Okay, so to start the experiment with this stuff, or the demonstration, what I've done is just tie on the end. This is a piece of stainless steel wire that I've tied on. What this allows me to do is basically to dunk it in there and get it out a little bit easier than trying to find the handle under of the basket inside. It's your choice if you want to do that, but if once I'm done and cleaned, I can then hang it from an engine hoist that I have hanging here, which is what this chain goes to. So now what I'm going to do is just put this in the Evapo-Rust solution. I'm going to leave it overnight, and I'll show you how it comes out in about 12 to 14 hours. Alright, so after an overnight soak, what you'll find on the product is that the parts kind of get almost like a thin jelly coating. And really what that is it's bonding to the rust itself and stripping off the metal. So what I would say with this, there you can dangle it a little bit, wipe it off with a towel, and then you can take this part into a sink, since the solution is water soluble, and then just rinse it off. And I like to use hot water a little bit. I think it comes off a little bit, but you can see it's kind of ooey gooey a little bit where it's bonded to the contaminant, and it's coming off. Alright, so if I show you the washed part underneath in here, you can see still a little bit of a brown versus a gray all through this, and that's just a little bit of rust left over. So you can look, some of the edges you see, it's kind of a golden still, a little bit of rust. And if I flip it over, you can see it's still kind of golden. More of an orangish gold on that on the rust. So this part, I'm going to soak an additional one night, and then we'll see if it will go after some of the stuff. So you get some of this grease buildup that doesn't go great. But if I show you down here, that the Evapo-Rust will actually clean off a lot of this stuff. So we'll soak this one more night and see what the piece will do. Okay, so after step 2, you can kind of see everything's really pretty good. You still got a little bit in here of kind of like a golden brown, just a skin's of rust. But on the bottom side, you remember this is all gunked up through here. And just after soaking and then using a small detail brush with metal bristles, I just kind of scrubbed everything over, and honestly, these things came out fantastic for as much time as I have into them and really effort. The solution's doing all the work for me. So if you're doing a concourse restoration, possibly you might want to do a third overnight soaking to really get rid of this stuff. These things are really in fantastic shape. So I'm going to leave these as is, and I'm going to move on to the final step, which is now that everything is clean, it's time to coat it one last time to allow it to dry and protect. The easiest step in this whole process is basically to dunk it one more time and let it drip dry. So this is where the stainless wire that I had came in. I've got an engine stand or engine hoist here with a chain, and it's just directly over the bucket. So we'll put this in one last time. One dip. One clip. And now all I have to do is let that dry, and then I'll show you the finished product. Okay, so here's the finished product. Now that this is drip dried, you can see everything's in dry. What a difference, huh? Nice gray cast versus the crustiness we started with. Look at the difference in those. So this stuff right here is a pretty awesome, really. So I've got it listed up in the Amazon shop if you need to find quantities or anything else, but this baby is ready to go, and I've got another set I want to start on. So if you guys have any questions on anything I've done on this, give me a shout. Otherwise, get out there and get some of this and start restoring your metal pieces. We'll see you next time.